Okay, so this is Parallel Circuit Solutions video 2 of 3. And so we start with number 25. That's this guy right here, and that is on page 144. And then these are the rest of the pages. Here's 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150, 151, and 152 is the last page. Okay, we begin with number 25. It says in the problem that it's a parallel circuit. So we have 6 100-watt lamps in parallel. The total voltage is 10 volts, and it wants to know what is the total current. We don't have to do this problem with a chart, but in order to show you the way you would solve this, I think it's easier if the chart is there. So let's make one. All right, so it wants to know what is the total current in the circuit. And we don't know anything about the currents, but I do know one of the voltage. I know the total voltage, and we know in a parallel circuit that all of the voltages are equal. And we're going after the current, and I know the power and I know the voltage, so with the power and the voltage, I can find the current. Sorry, I can find the current of an individual element, not the total, not yet. P equals VI, and so we can figure out that the current in the first element, it's a light bulb. The first bulb is 0.833 amps. To save space, I'm just going to write 0.83. But they're all the same. They're all 100-watt bulbs, so they're all going to have the same voltage, so they're all going to have the same current. And again, to be clear, it's not that all of the currents are the same in parallel. They're all the same power, though, and they all have the same voltage, so they'll all have the same current. All right, so they're all 0.83 amps. But the total current is not equal to the individuals. This is not a series circuit. In parallel, current adds up. I mean, honestly, you could just take 0.83 and multiply by 6, right? And in the end, you wind up with 5 amps for your answer, choice 1. All right, we move on to number 27, which is a parallel circuit. And 27 says, increase the number of resistors in parallel. What happens to equivalent resistance and total current? So just as a reminder, if we're dealing with a parallel circuit, it seems that if you add resistors, total resistance should go up. You're adding resistance. Except when you add a resistor in parallel, every time you piggyback another resistor, what you're really doing is you're giving the current another option to flow through. So with more options, there's actually less resistance. So like there's one resistor, and then if you piggyback another one onto that, and then if you piggyback another one onto that, you're just adding like lanes on a highway. More lanes on a highway means that it's easier for the cars to move through, not harder. And so that's the same thing for a parallel circuit. So as resistors are added in parallel, and as you add resistors in parallel, equivalent resistance goes down, and we know from Ohm's law, if equivalent resistance is going down, total current is going up, because they're inversely proportional. So 27 is choice 3. If you add resistors in parallel, equivalent resistance goes down and total current goes up. Okay, so 28 and 29 have a parallel circuit when the switch is closed, but 28 says when the switch is open. What's the story? So if the switch is open, R1 doesn't count. No current goes to R1 if that switch is open, because it's not a closed loop there. So when the switch is open, it's just R2 by itself. So in that case, it's just a simple circuit of one resistor. So we know the resistance and we know the voltage, and it wants to know the current. We end up with 2 amps going to that resistor, 12 ohms. Now, for 29, it says if switch S1 is closed, what's the equivalent resistance of the circuit? Well, if you close that switch, now we have 2 resistors in play, and they're connected in parallel. So I have a parallel circuit with 2 resistors for 29. All right, so the total voltage is 24 volts. We're actually not going to need that. And we have 4 ohms and 12 ohms for the 2 resistors, and it wants to know the equivalent resistance. Before you run off and say it's 16, remember, this is not a series circuit. Now again, you can go and find the least common denominator, which is 12, so that 1 over 4 is actually 3 over 12. Add the fractions, you get 4 over 12, and then you flip it, 12 over 4 is 3. So our equivalent is going to be 3 ohms. But you don't have to do it that way, just add the fractions. 1/4 plus 1/12 gives you 0.33. 0.33, right? Just keeps on going. But just remember, with parallel circuits, the equivalent resistance is not 0.33. It's not 1/3. 1 over the equivalent resistance is 0.33. So the equivalent resistance when you cross multiply is 3 ohms. And yes, the equivalent resistance is less than the individual resistors because that's the way parallel circuits work. As you add resistors in parallel, the equivalent resistance goes down. That's choice 3. All right, so 31 through 33 said we got a parallel circuit. We got 5, 10, and 15 ohms connected to a battery. We don't know about the battery, but we do know that the current through the 5 ohm resistor is 2.4 ohms. And I'm going to call that 2.4 amps. I'm going to call that I1 because it's the current through the 5 ohm resistor, which is the first one listed, so I'm calling that R1. Now, 31, draw a diagram of the circuit. It doesn't ask for an ammeter, but it does give us the current, so I'm going to put an ammeter in there, because if current is being measured, that's how you measure it. So let's go. We have 1, 2, 3 resistors with an ammeter on the first one, and a battery, of course. There it is. We have 3 resistors in parallel. I put an ammeter on the first one. I got my battery. Just remember, please don't do this. Please don't be like, oh yeah, and you box it off. No, you don't. That is a short circuit. That could start a fire. That is a bad idea. Don't do it. Okay, 32 says in 2 minutes, how much energy is in the first resistor? Well, I know the resistance value for the first resistor. Well, it doesn't say first resistor. It says 5 ohm resistor, which I'm calling the first resistor. Anyway, so it wants to know how much energy is there. Well, I know the resistance, and I don't know the voltage because I know nothing about the battery, but I do know that the current there is 2.4 amps. An interesting answer, 3, 4, 5, 6 joules in order. The numbers that they're giving us, let's see, we have a single digit on the 5 ohm resistor, so technically the answer is 3,000 joules, because you can round it to the only one significant figure based on what we're told. I'm just going to leave that as is. 3456 joules, good enough. By the way, I think I just kind of did that quickly. The 2 minutes I had to convert to 120 seconds. We don't do time in minutes. Time is in seconds. And then number 33 looks like a complicated question, but if you remember the properties of parallel circuits, you'll realize that it's not complicated at all. So 33, it says you add a 20 ohm resistor to the circuit. That doesn't even matter that it's 20 ohms. Describe the effect the addition of the resistor has on the energy expended in the 5 ohm resistor, not the whole circuit, just the 5 ohm resistor, in 2 minutes. Well, remember that in a parallel circuit, all circuit elements are independent. So if you add another resistor, if I add 100 more resistors, it has no effect on the individual resistors. So adding anything to the circuit has no effect on the 5 ohm resistor at all. So yeah, since they're all independent, adding anything has no effect on any one thing in the circuit. Adding anything in parallel has no effect on any one thing in the circuit. It would affect the circuit as a whole. Adding another branch would reduce the resistance, increase the current, and pull more energy out of the power supply. So the energy expended in 2 minutes for the whole circuit would increase, but just in the 5 ohm resistor, no effect. And again, to be clear about that, it's like, wait, if there's no effect of the 5 ohm resistor, then how come the whole circuit is putting out more energy? Because when you add another element, that element gets all of the energy it needs as if it's by itself. So the more things you add in parallel, the more energy you're pulling out of the battery. But the individual elements themselves are independent from each other. Hi. I'm not ready yet. Okay, so this is Julia. She's going to say hi. Hi. I don't know if you heard that. Say it louder. Hi! And we're back. So we're looking at 37, 39. We clearly have a parallel circuit. It doesn't say that in the description, but I can tell that based on the image. And I have 4 resistors on this circuit connected to 12 volts of voltage. All right, so 37 wants to know what's the current in ammeter A. I can see that ammeter A is across the, is not across, is next to with the 6 ohm resistor. And I can get the current easily using Ohm's law. Since R equals V over I, then I equals V over R. And I have the R, but I don't have the V. But this is a parallel circuit, so I do have the V, it's the same as the total. Stick that 12 volts in for V1. So there are 2 amps in that branch right there, and so that would be choice 2. 38 wants to know what's the equivalent resistance. All right, well, we have all of the resistors, so let's work it out. And you could find the least common denominator, which in this case would be 36, and kind of go from there, but I just added up the fractions and I got 1/3, 0.33333, etc. And you do 1 over R equivalent is equal to that decimal, and you get 3 ohms for your R equivalent, choice 3. And then we have 39, and it wants to know how much power is dissipated or used in the 36 ohm resistor. Well, we don't know the current through the 36 ohm resistor, but we do know the voltage through it. So we know that the V3 is equal to the total, as all of the branches of that parallel circuit are all equal to 12 volts. So I stick in 12 volts, put in 12 volts there, don't forget to square it, and we wind up with 4 watts, choice 4. All right, so on 40, they give us 4, 6, and 8 ohms in a parallel, connected in parallel. I did not identify 37 through 39 as being parallel. Here we go, parallel. And same thing for this guy, I broke my own rule where you had to identify the circuit first. My bad. They say 40, you got 4, 6, and 8 ohms connected in parallel, and they want to know about the equivalent resistance. Well, I know that the equivalent resistance in a parallel circuit is less than the individual resistors, so I'm going to say it's less than 4 ohms, but let's actually find out. So, yep, when you add up all those fractions, you get 0.541667, etc. So 1 over that is the equivalent resistance. You wind up being 1.85 ohms, which is definitely less than 4, and that would be choice 1. So 41 is an interesting question. It said if you had 100 ohm, a 100 ohm resistor, and a 25 ohm resistor, what's the smallest equivalent resistance they can make? Well, in series, they're going to make 125. So yeah, 100 ohms, 25 ohms with the smallest resistance. We know that resistors add up in series, so the series doesn't seem like that would be right. And then in parallel, you get 1 over 100 plus 1 over 25, you get 1 over R total is 0.05. So the R equivalent there would be 20 ohms. So yeah, the parallel connection would be the way to go. Interestingly, the parallel connection connecting both the 100 ohm resistor and the 25 ohm resistor together gives you a smaller equivalent resistance than if you just connected the 25 ohm resistor by itself and left off the 100. So connecting the 100 in parallel actually gives you a smaller equivalent resistance, which is, I don't know, I think that's interesting. All right, so 42 through 44 is a parallel circuit. I know the total voltage in R1 and R2. 42 wants the equivalent resistance. And we wind up with 12 ohms, which is choice 2. And let's see, 43, what is the reading of the ammeter? I can see that ammeter is in series next to the 20 ohm branch of this circuit. So we can get that the current, since R equals V over I equals V over R, the resistance is 20 ohms and the voltage would be 12 volts because in a parallel circuit, all the voltages are equal. So the voltage across the first branch equals the total voltage. So I slip that in, 12 divided by 20 is 0.6 amps, choice 2. 44 wants the power in the 30 ohm resistor. I know the resistance, and again, I know the voltage is the same as the total. So no voltage, I know resistance, I'll do V squared over R. 12 volts squared over 30 ohms is 12.8 watts, choice 1. 46 wants a voltmeter to read potential difference for the whole circuit. Well, I could put that voltmeter anywhere because the potential difference, the voltage, is the same for all spots. So first let's draw in the circuit. I'm at the bottom of the page, so we can squeeze this in. Circuit, and so we have to put a voltmeter to read potential difference. I could put it anywhere. So I could put it across any of those, either the first resistor, second resistor, or the total. But honestly, if you're going after the total potential difference, then why don't you just put it across the power supply? This way, that's going to be true for a parallel circuit or a series circuit because you put it across the power supply. All right, 47, I'm going to squeeze into the corner, and what's the equivalent resistance of the whole circuit? There's a little box dedicated to 47. I'll stick them in here. It wants to know the equivalent resistance. And when you throw it all together, you get 2.4 ohms. In mind, the answer is not 0.42. If you said 0.42, you forgot that 1 over R equivalent is 0.42. So R equivalent is 2.4 ohms. All right, that's the bottom of that page. Let's make a new page. Okay, we have number 53. Ooh, look at that. It's a junction rule. All right, so the rule here, we have currents going all over the place. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different branches. Oh my goodness, what a mess. But the rule is the sum of the current going into the junction has to be the sum of the current coming out of the junction, and that's because of conservation of charge. All right, so let's take a look at the arrows. Going into the junction, I have 3 amps and 2 amps. Based on the arrows coming out of the junction, I have 4, 1, and 2 amps. All right, so 3 plus 2, here's some hardcore math. Ready? 3 plus 2 equals 5. Whoa. 3 amps in. I think I'm going to need some extra current there because on the right side of the equation, 4 plus 1 plus 2, whoa, add 3 numbers, that's a toughie. 4 and 1 is 5 and 2 is 7 amps. Oh, I forgot to write the word out. Hold up. Well, like I said, it's got a balance. So I have 5 amps going in and 7 amps coming out. That means I'm going to need another 2 amps going in order to balance. 2 more amps. So what does that ammeter read? 2 amps. Ammeter doesn't give direction, it just gives amount. But we know it's going to be 2 amps, so that's choice 2. Keep this in mind. The junction rule. The sum of the current going in has to be the sum of the current going out. That's kind of a big deal. I'm going to give it like a little bit of a red highlight. Oh yeah. And for our last question in parallel circuit solutions 2 of 3, we have number 56. Talk about adding up currents. I have 10 amps total, and it wants to know what's the reading of ammeter A2. Actually, the fact that there's 10 amps, oh, this is interesting. They don't give us the value. They don't give us the total voltage. All right, I'm going to need a table for this sucker. Okay, stuff I'm told. The 2 individual resistors are 20 and 30, and the total current is 10 amps. I don't know anything about the voltage, and it's asking what is the reading of ammeter A2? That would be the current in the 20 ohm branch. So it wants to know what is that number right there. So based on the info they give me, I can only do one thing, and that's find the equivalent resistance. So let's do that. Our equivalent is 0.083, etc. So our equivalent ends up being 12 ohms. Well, that still doesn't get me the current for the first branch. And again, there's only one thing I can do here, and that's to find the total voltage. Using the total current and the equivalent resistance, I can get total voltage. So we discover that the total voltage is 120 volts. Now, if you know one voltage, you know all of them in the parallel circuit. And now I finally have enough information to complete the entire table. I don't need to complete the entire table. I just want to find what is the first current. So I know the voltage, I know V1, I know R1, I can solve for I1 with, you guessed it, Ohm's law. And we wind up with 6 amps for our current. Let's see if I can erase. I'm going to erase this question mark. I'm going to mess up my lines. Fix my lines. And we wind up with 6 amps. After all that work, I'm going to do it in red. 6 amps. And that's choice 1. But this is why the table is so useful, because when you think about it, that was 1, let's see, check it. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 steps to that problem. Like, I mean, that's a lot for multiple choice. But 4 steps, that's a lot, period. But when you have the table to organize your thinking, I think it makes it a lot easier. I didn't say easy, I said easier. So there you go. But that's 56. That's the end of solutions, parallel circuit solutions 2 of 3. See you next time for our final installment, parallel circuit 3 of 3 solutions.